I'm coming to you for this episode from my vacation in Texas, and I'm talking with one of my favorite 14-year-olds, Ruby Kate. I met her during the 2019 Don't Wait Project Tour. She is the founder of 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residents, and she makes wishes come true for seniors living in nursing homes. Thanks for being here, Ruby.
Hi, it's nice being here.
So let's talk. I wanted to have you on here real quick. I know you're busy with your Valentine's Day project and all things. I wanted to have you on to talk about your recent recognition as the top 20 finalists for Time Magazine's Kid of the Year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
What was the process? How were you notified? Kind of tell us just over a couple minutes what that was like and what was involved.
So I think about a year ago when I was still homeschooled, I was notified by Time Magazine that I was eligible to be nominated for Time Magazine Kid of the Year. And of course, me and my mom wanted to try it. We had no idea that we were actually going to get nominated for it, but we just wanted to try it out. And it took a long process, but we had to do a huge interview, and the interview itself went amazing. It was probably one of my top interviews, so I'm super excited about that. And then a couple weeks later, we got another interview, and it was just saying that I had gotten top 20. And when they told me, I started crying, like happy tears, but it was just, I didn't expect to be there. And it was a huge accomplishment for me, and it was really awesome. And just hearing that, it was just awesome. It made me feel really good.
So when you go through this process, you founded 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residents. How long ago? It's been about.
I founded it in 2019, so just about 3 years ago.
And so that's about the time that I met you, and you had already raised, by the time I met you, you'd raised $250,000 because you wanted to make simple wishes come true. And we're talking simple wishes. People wanted things like pants that fit, a comfortable pillow, shampoo that lathered because they only have their $30 to $40 stipend, or watermelon, and treats like candy or McDonald's, whatever it is. And it's grown. You're talking to us from the community center that you've started in your own community. Talk about that.
So I'm in our community center right now. It's a huge building, and it's kind of like a warehouse. We have a huge room in the back that holds all of our nursing home residents' items. We keep it all back there. There's so much of it. We have an office room for meetings, and we have a huge bathroom, which is handicapped accessible. And it's a great building. We also have a huge main space that has 4 huge bulk tables. We can have the community come in and they can do community projects with us. So it's a really nice area, and I just love being here. I love coming here after school and volunteering. It's awesome.
When I was with you and your mom at one of the nursing homes, she had all of the items stashed in her office, her tiny office, yes, with everything that was coming in. And so to have that community center, and a lot of times you all will gather and make cards for local residents and crafts and do all. I know for sure, I've had your mom on the show a couple of times, and she and I stay in touch, that you and the children that volunteer on your board and everyone who serves your community there were the light and shining star of just the bright spot in some of their day when they were separated from their families during COVID. So do you want to talk about that at all? Just how you felt better able to serve the people who needed that love and attention perhaps the most?
Yeah, it's been a long process with COVID and everything. It's been really difficult, but it's really built us, and it's given us experience for maybe future things that might happen. And with nursing homes, it's really unpredictable. Right now, I can't go in there anymore because of the new variant, but I remember probably about a month ago I was able to, and I can go in there often, but if there's an outbreak, I can't. But I think now it's more than ever needed to go in there and help them because of how lonely they are. Not only are they losing their friends in the nursing home, they're losing their friends outside of the nursing home and their families. So I hope that I can be seen as family to them and can brighten their mood, because I think it's needed more now than ever.
And you make the lovely gifts and things that you take in there. Well, I have such respect for you, Ruby. Keep coming back every single time you accomplish great things. And I'd love to share your story with the audience. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, we'll talk with Keri Dyer about her remarkable 100-pound loss fitness journey. Keri, thanks for joining us here today. I've been following you for a bit and gaining more and more respect for your journey. So thanks for being here to share it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I started seeing you through your reels where you show your workouts. And I love how transparent you are, and you are an open book. So let's just start from the beginning. I know from part of your story that you've been overweight most of your life. You brought it into adulthood from childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Growing up, I was always the bigger kid in school. Look back at photos and stuff like that. And, sometimes as a kid, you don't necessarily see that as much as you do, as you start to like become more conscious of your weight. But yeah, pretty much all my life.
And when you look back at pictures of yourself, though, then many of us do, we look back and we thought then that we were overweight or didn't look good in this or that. And then we look back now, we're like, whoa, I wish I looked like that again, So was it an obvious overweightness, or do you look back now and you think I was harder on myself than I needed to be? Or both?
I would say it was both. Yeah. I was probably harder on myself than I could have been, but also not hard enough at the same time, because like I was so busy and active and stuff like that, that like, I just kind of assumed that oh, you realize it when you look at photos, just how big you are, but sometimes looking in the mirror, like you don't always see it all. So I didn't like really focus much on my weight at all, or like think about it as anything. Sometimes I look back at photos and I'm like, dang, when did it just kind of creep on? Here it wasn't so bad, and then here it just.
And that's so relatable. That's so relatable. Yeah. And part of why I wanted to talk to you now is, so January's over, and so the resolutions are over. And you started this, well, let's go back to when the first time you started to lose weight. Now you've been on this part of your journey since 2019.
Yes.
And it's not a New Year's resolution this year or anything like that. So February's here and you're still working at it. And I have such respect for your process and how open you are and how many people you help by sharing your story. You first started losing weight how long ago that wasn't a healthy way of going about it?
Yeah. So when I turned 21, the guy I had been dating for a while and I just kind of split up, and just kind of like was in a funk, but just like kind of trying to refigure myself out at the time, being a young adult. And at that point in time, so I was, about 21, and I just kind of, like I said, didn't do it the most healthy of a way, but
you lost about 100 pounds, right?
Yeah, 110 pounds, and it just kind of came off fast. But you
were 21. It's a little easier to do then.
Well, and I had an eating disorder with it. So when you are only eating 400 calories a day,
right?
Barely functioning and stuff like that. But like I was just so afraid. Like I looked at a picture of myself and just realized then, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do, but I do not want to be that. And unfortunately, it wasn't a positive mindset at that point in time. It was a 21-year-old, I shouldn't look like this, I'm so ashamed type of thing.
And you most likely didn't have the education you needed to make those changes. I think that's a big thing. I worked for a weight loss company when I was in college. It was a good job I could have in the evenings and, go to school during the day. And I remember going on their diet and thinking it was fun, because I had like 8 pounds, it was just ridiculous. Right. And then it starts to accumulate for all these other reasons. So I guess that the emotions that you were having that were the reasons the way you weren't going about it healthily to lose the weight, I'm guessing that some of the emotional attachment also helped you bring on the weight, the emotional eating, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. they really do play hand in hand. And, you know, if you're not in the right mindset to really focus on, that's why I kind of, you know, talk about that mindset a lot in my journey and sharing it, because I wasn't in the right mindset to be able to be successful long term. And that's what it is. It's not a diet. It's not, you know, anything like that you're just trying to, like people say New Year's resolutions. It's a lifestyle change that you really have to be, you know, thorough about making. And at that point in time, all I cared about was just not being fat anymore. And
well,
so,
and I think, and I bring up the part about my story, not in comparison, except that when we're young and we try something, whether it's your 400, you know, whatever it is we're doing to try to fix whatever we think doesn't look quite right.
Right.
Whether it's, you know, 10 or 20 or 30 or 100, we all have our struggles. Some it's weight, some it's something else. But usually there's this underlying reason for why we're treating ourselves the way we're treating ourselves.
Right. Right.
And so when you start to get to the bottom of that, you're not really getting to the bottom of it by eating 400 calories and taking the weight off really fast. So then you got pregnant with your daughter and you had lost the weight already, right?
Yeah. I dropped 110 pounds. I started dating my husband, at the, you know, boyfriend at the time, started dating him, was feeling fine. We got married. You know, I felt like I looked great. You know, I was so excited. I got pregnant with her, and like, again, the education thing just kind of really played in. I didn't know anything about like the weight and stuff before, and I still didn't know. So like at that point in time, I was afraid of everything. Like I was like, you can't work out because like you could, you know, hurt, you know, something like that. I was just all over the place with this whole new mom syndrome.
And you know, you can't get by on 400 calories when you're pregnant.
Right. So everything was out the window, and I would just eat whatever sounded good, mozzarella sticks all the time, chickens, you know. And I ended up gaining 70 pounds throughout my pregnancy. And I got to a place, and whenever I had her, and I just was like, okay, you know, I did it before, I can do it again. But I didn't realize the challenges of having a newborn at that point in time, and just like so pre-focused on her and making sure that she was okay, that like I just slipped further and further and further. Well,
and the older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned before we started recording that you in your mind, you thought, I still have time. I'm still young. Yep. And people tell us that all the time, like get it done. Even I remember not wanting to get my tooth pulled. Like my wisdom teeth pulled. I still had my bottom set, and my dentist kept saying, you need to get it done. You need to get it done. I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And then when he said, the older you get, the harder it is because you don't heal as easily. I thought, whoa, that's a thing.
Right.
Because I'm 50 now. And so technically 50 is not old by any means, but getting to that point where, oh, my dentist is telling me I might not heal as well in 5 years or whatever. So same with weight loss. Right. Everything just works better the younger we are. So now you're 30, which is still quite young, very young.
Right.
And when this happens, and so you've gained the weight, and you kind of coast that way for quite a while.
I did. And not only did I coast, it just continued to rise. You know, I just wasn't as active and stuff like that anymore. And you know, I would be like, you know, I'd get onto that kick where I don't want to do it. And then something came up, and, you know, I wasn't motivated. I wasn't determined, you know, stuff like that. And I always had things, something would always come up, but it just, between the ages of 25, when I had gained that extra weight back, and then to 30, I gained even more. So, you know, here I was working so hard to lose 110 pounds, and now I've gained that and then some again.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the things that you've done and the things that I notice you doing, and that all the people who follow you and draw inspiration from you see you doing consistently. This is not a New Year's resolution type of show. Okay.
Not for me.
Not this episode. We're back talking with Keri Dyer. We're talking about her weight loss journey of 100 pounds or more. It was 110 pounds, and then it became more weight. And we're talking with you about just what got you in 2019 to the point where, okay, you had no more education about nutrition or how to lose weight necessarily, but now you have the mindset. So what was the catalyst in 2019 that made you think, okay, I got to do something, and has led to your weight loss so far?
Yeah. So actually circling back a little bit further, in 2017, I believe it was the first time that I thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah. And I remember being at Walmart and just walking, and then all of a sudden sweating, heart racing, all of these things, rushed to the ER because what is this? You know, I'm young. I don't know what this is. Turned out to be an anxiety attack. Had no idea that I had it, anything like that. And it just really kind of crippled me. I spent a couple of years battling it, trying to figure out what is this, like what, you know, what's going wrong.
So during that trip to the ER, did they say, okay, this is anxiety, but
yeah,
not helping your heart, and you're going to need to do something?
Yeah, well, yeah, they were basically like, hey, you know, like, this is what's going on. I found out I had Hashimoto's. So I didn't have a functioning thyroid. They kind of explained that in relations to my weight loss journey too. And basically they're, you know, when you're plus size and you're at a doctor's office, the first thing they're going to tell you is lose weight. Like it's just the go-to. You have anxiety, but if you get skinny, you're going to not have anxiety. And so like,
which is not even,
it's not absolutely, yeah. Like that's just
not every doctor would say that,
yes,
but some,
yes.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah.
But, so yeah, that was just kind of like, at first was like, okay, well, I struggled for a couple of years and it just wasn't going away. And finally I was like, you know what? I think it's my mindset. I don't think that I'm actually ready to lose weight. I'm not losing weight. And I don't think that I'm actually ready to. So I need to learn. I need to educate myself. And that's when I started following some people. I started reading some books. I started actually learning about nutrition and what's good and what's bad. I actually started doing research. I got into therapy for my anxiety. And I just saw this shift in me that was like, hey, I'm actually uncovering all of these things that I wasn't aware were present. I'm learning things. I'm actually able to understand things now. And it just kind of sparked something in me, was just like, it just clicked. I'm a firm believer in the right time. It's just going to click for you. And it clicked for me. And it's been ever since 2019.
And one of the things that you share a lot about is the nutrition. Like you'll show what you're eating that day, or you'll show, I love when you show your workouts, because I can tell you, I mean, I am self-conscious, and I know for sure I couldn't set a camera over there and do my workout and then post it. I think it's bravery, because you're vulnerable, and you're doing it, but you're doing the weights, you're doing all the things. And I can see, just since I started following you a few months ago, and I know you had to take a break from workouts because you were ill, but just the progress, it's a good gauge for you to know your progress.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Even if someone could record themselves and not show it on Instagram and still see their own progress.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was incredibly insecure at first whenever I started. And then I realized that was just my comfort zone that I was always stuck in. And I've been stuck in that for, however many years, and I just wasn't getting results. So I just kind of said, you know what, like, I remember had I had somebody like me doing all of this, I could have learned just a little bit. I'm obviously not trained and, like to be able to tell people about nutrition and stuff like that. But I, if I can learn and then share a little bit of the knowledge that I've gained, like somebody else who's in my position struggling to find themselves again, like they might benefit from it. So I took a picture of myself, looked at it and said, holy cow, and then said, post it, because there's no going back. Like once you start sharing that journey, like it's just, and
it's relatable and it's respectable. Yeah. It is. Yeah. So then I also watched your interaction with your daughter. You guys were taste testing something that you were trying out the other day. And how are you trying to impart that to her so that she doesn't grow up with the same struggles and carry those into her adulthood? Obviously, that's important to you.
It is absolutely important to me.
And part of your motivation, right? I mean, you want to be
because she
example.
She wrote me a card for Christmas and put it in my stocking and was just like,
this year?
Yeah. like, mommy, you're the best mommy, you work so hard, even, you do your workouts so hard, and I watch you and I'm so proud of you, and stuff like that. And it's just like, if she sees those things now,
Yes.
she's not going to think of it as like, like, oh, I have to do this. So, like, she's going to be able to learn things to where she's not struggling at 21 trying to figure out where did I go wrong and stuff like that. Like, she's got that knowledge in me and in herself, because I want to educate her.
And you have a positive
why.
mindset. So your discussion, at least from an outsider looking in, regarding nutrition and exercise is not an I have to. It is like, it's a way of life for you that I'm, part of her life wasn't that way, but now it is.
Right.
And that's, they remember the highlights.
Yeah.
As they get older, and hopefully the stuff that we didn't do such a great job at, they forget that. I don't know. They remember it all probably. But what you're teaching her now will have a huge impact on her as she goes through.
Yeah. Just like, she wants to learn how to cook with me. And so I'm like, okay, I can teach her how to make all of these bad things, or I can teach her how to make all these good things. And then, like, when she goes to want to cook something for herself, she's going to remember those healthier options that and I don't make it whatsoever about being on a diet. I don't talk about that. I am full. Right. This is a lifestyle. Like, this is what we eat because we choose to, because, and I try to teach her things like, this is the good that it can do for your body. Like, these are all the benefits that our body is going to have, and all the things, magical things that our bodies can have and do whenever we take care of it and we honor it and stuff like that. So I just
I remember telling my son, what's that? Sorry. Yes.
I try to phrase it all in a positive way for her, so she doesn't go at it in the future with negative beliefs.
I remember when my son was leaving for college, and I said, if you get a cold, eat better. If you don't feel well, eat healthy. If you are having troubles, I just kept saying, because I fed him healthily, throughout his life as well, like you're doing. And that's the first thing you got to check, right?
Yeah.
Sleep, water, nutrition. And it took him till about his junior year to take my advice on that. But they eventually, I think they come back to and now he loves watching Gordon Ramsay and cooks, and he's a better cook than I am already. And I didn't learn to cook till I was like 40. So but I feel like, he has, I didn't do it all right for sure, but I gave him enough of it. And then the stuff that they take on their own, sometimes they go off and do complete opposite of what we would have tried to teach them anyway. So all we can do is try and instill some of it.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of my thought process, through it all is just being able to use this time as a tool with her and stuff like that. Like, we've got this time that we're going to spend together. I would rather teach her everything positive and mindful that I can, because it helps me stay on track too.
Yeah.
Not
and even
just
those bad foods in moderation, right? She's learning that you can have those things in moderation, but you're not going to keep them in the cookie jar all week long.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Makes sense. Well, I just have respect for you, and I'm excited to continue to watch you move along in this journey and see who you bring along with you, because I know you have a very active Instagram. I'm hanging out on Instagram a lot lately because I just discovered it probably in the last 6 months. And and it's storytelling. It's storytelling. And I really enjoy it. And so to have found someone like you and stay in touch a little bit, and I just observe a little and see, what is their story and how can I help share it? So I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate being able to share it on every platform, just because it's a huge part of me. And I know that there's others struggling out there. And if I can inspire just one person, then I feel like I've mission accomplished.
Well, keep up the good work. And I'll keep following you, and we'll stay in touch. And I look forward to continuing to see your journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Take good care.